بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وآل الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علمك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We study أصالة الاحتياط, the principle of precaution. And as you remember, we said this is when the previous condition is not known, so we cannot do istishab. And we know that there is an obligation, there is taklif, but we don't know how to implement that obligation, how to observe that obligation. So we have to do ihtiyat by doing extra. So Ayatollah Subhani says, هذا هو الأصل الثالث من الأصول العملية. This is the third principle of the practical principles. ويعبر عنه بأصالة الاشتغال. And this is called also أصالة الاشتغال. The principle of asalat means primordiality, but you can say also asli. Al-ishtighal means you have to assume that your dhimma, your shoulder is still under taklif till you become certain that you have delivered your responsibility. Al-ishtighal.
What does it mean?
Ishtighal means to be busy. Yeah? Means your dhimma, your shoulder, is under the obligation till you are 100% sure that you have done it. Al-ishtiqal al-yaqini yastad'i al-faragh al-yaqini. When you know there is taklif, then you must make sure that you have implemented. You cannot say maybe 50% I have done it. No, you have to be 100% sure. وَمَجْرَاهُ هُوَ الشَّكُّ فِي الْمُكَلَّفِ بِهِ. Majra means the place for jarayan. So this principle is implemented where? When there is doubt فِي الْمُكَلَّفِ بِهِ. You should always remember that we have few things. We have mukallaf. Who is mukallaf? The one who orders. Mukallaf. The one who is ordered. Taklif. Obligation. Al-mukallafu bih means what mukallaf wants from mukallaf. Yeah, so obligation of doing what? Yeah, so for example, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Aqimus salah, He is mukallaf. We are mukallaf. Wujub is taklif. Salat is mukallafu bih. Yeah, means something that we have been asked. So, asalatul ihtiyat or asalatul ishtighal is implemented when there is doubt in mukallaf bih, in what has been asked. But if there was just doubt, there was no need for ihtiyat. But at the same time that you have doubt, you have knowledge that there is taklif. So you cannot apply bara'ah. You cannot say, okay, I assume there is no taklif. No, you know there is taklif, but you don't know what is asked. What are you supposed to do? So, ashakku fil mukallaf bih you have doubt about what has been asked, but you have knowledge of asl al-taklif. So the taklif itself is known. And also the third condition is that ihtiyat should be possible. Because if you have shak fil mukallaf bih and ilm bit taklif, but it is davaran bayn al mahdurain, you cannot do ihtiyat. So this is where ihtiyat is possible. As you remember, I said there is no previous condition, so you cannot do istishab. You know taklif, and then you can do ihtiyat or you cannot do ihtiyat. If you can do ihtiyat, you must do ihtiyat. If you don't know what is wanted, but you know there is taklif and it's either wujub or hurma, you cannot do ihtiyat.
What do you mean by the word ihtiyat, if you don't mind?
Precaution.
Precaution.
Means you must do extra to make sure that you are on the safe side. Okay? You have to do extra. So if it is a matter of wajib or mustahab, you have to assume that it is wajib. Yeah? If it is a matter of haram or makruh, you have to assume it is haram. Or if it is haram and mubah, you have to assume it's haram. You have to avoid it if it is ihtiyat. Okay. الشبهة تنقسم إلى تحريمية ووجوبية. Again, like previous cases, your doubt is either about wujub or about hurma. Okay? So let's first talk about الشبهة التحريمية. As you remember, we always tried to address 4 cases. الشبهة الحكمية, whether it's wujubi or tahrimi, whatever, when there is no nas, فقدان الناس, or إجمال الناس, or تعارض الناسين, or شبهة الموضوعية. Yeah, so far we have always had 4 types. The first 3 types don't apply here. So we don't have any case, real case in fiqh, where we have shubhi hukmiyya and we know taklif, we don't know mukallafa bih, and ihtiyat is possible. Therefore, we don't discuss the first 3 types. We only discuss ash-shubahatul mawdu'iyya. Okay? المقام الأول الشبهة التحريمية مقتضى التقسيم السابق في الشك في التكليف يقتضي أن يكون هنا أيضا مسائل 4. If we want to follow the same procedure, the same way of classification, we should here also say there are 4 types, because we said shubha is either hukmi or mawdu'i, and in hukmi the reason for that is ijmalun nas or faqdanun nas or ta'aruzun nasay. Okay, but لكن كل ذلك فروض نظرية. These are all theoretical assumptions. We don't have all these 4 types. لا واقع لها في الفقه. There is no reality for these 4, all of them in fiqh. The only one that can have practical, sensible applications in fiqh is the 4th, which is shubha mawdu'iyya. فالتي لها تطبيقات عملية ملموسة في الفقه هي المسألة الرابعة. The one that has practical applications in fiqh, which are malmus, you can sense it, you can touch it, means real, concrete, is the 4th. And that is الشبهة التحريمية الموضوعية. أما المسائل الثلاث الحكمية, the 3 types of حكمية ليست لها تطبيقات عملية. They don't have practical implications. لذلك, therefore we only mention the 4th. Okay. When mukallaf, shubha mawdu'iyya means mukallaf has a doubt. Shubha hukmiyya, as you remember, we said who has doubt? Faqih. In shubha hukmiyya, faqih has doubt. In shubha mawdu'iyya, mukallaf has doubt. So, there are two types of shubha mawdu'iyya here. One is to have ash-shubhatul mahsurah, and the other is to have ash-shubhatu ghayrul mahsurah. Sometimes the parties, the sides of the doubt are very few, only 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes the too many. Okay? So, ash-shubhatul mawdu'iyyatu tahrimiyah min ash-shakk fil mukallaf bih. When you don't know, you have doubt about what is asked. تنقسم إلى قسمين لأن الحرام المشتبه بغيره إما مشتبه في أمور محصورة. It's either dubious among parts or parties which are limited. محصورة means you can exhaust them. 3, 4, 5, 6. Then كما لو دار الحرام بين أمرين. Only two cups, for example. One of them is najis. Or umuran mahsura. It's not two, more than two, but 3, 4, few. تسمى بالشبهة المحصورة. أما مشتبه في أمور غير محصورة. It's either mahsura or more than what you can exhaust. For example, 1 cup in 1,000 cups. One butcher in London, for example, in the whole town, London, we have thousands of butchers. We know one butcher sells haram meat. This is very small percentage. إما مشتبه في أمور غير محصورة وتسمى بالشبهة غير المحصورة فإليك دراسة حكم كلا القسمين. So we now, inshallah, study both types. الشبهة التحريمية المحصورة, الشبهة التحريمية غير المحصورة. But remember, both of them are موضوعي. We said hukmi we don't discuss because it's not practical. Okay. حكم الشبهة المحصورة. Suppose you know something is najis. There are 2 containers or 3 containers. We know one of them is najis. Do we need to avoid all of them or not? We say yes. Because when one of them is najis, you have to avoid it. And here the only way to make sure that you have avoided is to avoid all different possibilities, all different parties of the question. So if this is 1 in 3, you have to avoid all the 3. Yes.
But that is not so different from what we did in the class from Salatul Bara. We were in Masura, we were
That
I know this is from Mukalla.
In the past, Akhbariyun wanted to make it Shubhiyya Mahsura. What we said, when it's Shakk Badvi, there is no Mahsura. We didn't accept. Because Akhbariyun wanted to say that even in Shubahat al-Tahrimiyya, which are normal, we have ilm ijmali, that there are harams and maybe this is one of them. We said, no, that's not ilm ijmali, because that ilm ijmali is yanhallu ila shubhatin badwiyya wa atrafin yaqiniyya. Real shubha mahsura is here, that you know there is taklif, but you don't know which of these 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. إذا قامت الأمارة. What does amara mean?
Commander?
No, amara means evidence, sign.
Evidence from the...
Yes, amara means sign. It's not emara. Emara is where there is amir, emirate. But amara with hamza means sign. إذا قامت الأمارة, when we have religious evidence, على حرمة شيء, that something is haram, وشمل إطلاق الدليل مورد العلم الإجمالي. When it is said it is haram, it's haram whether it is known by itself or it is one of few. It's haram. You cannot say, for example, blood is najis when you know it, but if it is one of the 2 cups, then it's not najis. It's haram and najis regardless. إذا قامت الأمارة على حرمة الشيء وشمل إطلاق الدليل مورد العلم الإجمالي. And the generality of the source, the reference for it, includes even when it's undecided. It's one of few. For example, it is said, اجتنب عن النجس. Avoid najis, something which is ritually dirty. وكان مقتضى إطلاقه شموله للنجس المعلوم إجمالا. The text, the hadith, for example, which says اجتنب النجس, doesn't say اجتنب النجس when you know it specifically. It has itlaq. Whether you know this is najis specifically, or you know this or that is najis. One of the 2, one of the 3. Again, you have to avoid. Is it clear? هل يجوز المخالفة الاحتمالية? So now, can we say, okay, I don't take all the parties, all the sides, because then I become 100% sure that I have committed haram. I take one of them or 2 of them, or all of them minus 1, so that I don't know that I have committed haram. Can you do that? We say we discuss this issue in 2 levels. First, let's see what our rules and principles imply. Suppose we don't have any specific guidance from Sharia. What our general rules imply here. Second is what we might have in our scripture as a specific guidance for this case. So we address it in 2 levels. One is general, based on our general rules and principles. We want to see if there is any guidance we can take from those principles. The second is if there is a specific thing in Sharia, a text, a hadith, an ayah that says what to do here. فيقع الكلام في موردين. الأول ما هو مقتضى القاعدة الأولية. What the primary rule imply here means, suppose we don't have any specific text. What are general rules imply here? الثاني. The second question, the second level of discussion is في ورود الترخيص في لسان الشارع. Has a permission come on the tongue of legislator or not? Is it clear? أما الأول فمقتضى القاعدة الأولية وجوب الاجتناب عن الأطراف. When it comes to our general rules, when you use your intellect, your aql, and apply general rules, you realize that what we should do here is to avoid all parts, all the sides. وجوب الاجتناب عن الأطراف. We have to avoid all the sides, all the parties. Why? لوجود المقتضي وعدم المانع. Because there is muqtazi, which is the hukm, and there is no mane. Ilm ijmali is not mane. You say, I don't know which one specifically. This is not enough. Yeah? Do Uqala accept that just because it is one of the two or three, you say, I don't bother at all? But they say you must be cautious. Amma wujud al-muqtazi. Why there is muqtazi? فلأن إطلاق قول الشارع اجتنب عن الخمر يشمل الخمر المردد بين الإناءين أو أزيد. The text that you have which says this is to be avoided, for example, khamr has to be avoided, this text is mutlaq. It doesn't say avoid khamr if you know that something is specifically khamr. It says avoid khamr. If it is 1 cup, avoid that cup. If it is one of the two, avoid still the khamr. Still avoid the khamr. I'm not saying avoid both of them. To avoid both of them comes later. Khamr has to be avoided, whether it is known specifically or it's not known. Okay. If it has to be avoided regardless, then now, how are you able to avoid when it is one of the two or three? You have to avoid all of them. Did you get the point?
Yes. Can you tell us the meaning of muqtazi, please?
Muqtazi means what requires something. For example, yes. For example, in philosophy, we say fire is muqtazi. When you have fire and wood, fire is muqtazi, means fire has the ability to burn. But there must be no mani, no obstacle. For example, if the wood is wet, there is muqtazi, but there is also mani. You remember the joke I told you about this? In philosophy or aqaid. Sometimes, for example, when you want to visit an alim or elder, you say, for example, if there is no mani, if there is no obstacle, I would like to come and see you. Okay? Because you don't want to trouble. So you say, if there is no mani, maybe he's busy, has commitments, family, So say, if there is no mani, no obstacle, I would like to come and see you. Okay? But once a student said that one of ulama has passed away, that if there is no mani, I would like to come and see you. He said there is no mani, but there is no also muqtazi. Means there is no reason. Yes. So there has to be muqtazi and also no mani. So here we say that مقتضى القاعدة الأولية وجوب الاجتناب عن الأطراف لوجود المقتضي وعدم المانع. Why we say there is muqtazi? Because we have general rule اجتنب عن الخمر. It doesn't say which khamr or when khamr is known specifically. You have to avoid it. يشمل, this إطلاق يشمل الخمر المردد بين الإناءين أو أزيد. This includes the khamr which is one of the two cups, one of the two things, liquids, or more than 2, 3, 4. ولا وجه لتخصيصه بالخمر المعلوم تفصيلا. There is no point in saying that this only includes khamr which is known specifically. Who said that? It says اجتنب الخمر. أما عدم المانع. So muqtazi is there. The text with it islaq includes it. But is there any mani? We say no, there is no mani. Why? لأن العقل لا يمنع من تعلق التكليف عموما أو خصوصا بالاجتناب عن عنوان الحرام المشتبه بين أمرين أو أمور. Our aql would not mind would not see any problem that taklif, the obligation, belongs to something either specifically or as a whole. So there is no problem. And if you don't listen to your taklif, you don't observe your taklif, you deserve blame and punishment. Okay, so when it comes to the general rules, there is no doubt that we have to do ihtiyat. But let us see if here in particular we have something specific in Sharia, something in Hadith, something in Quran, something that can override the general rules. If you have nothing extra, the general rules imply that we should do ihtiyat. But is there any hadith that we can find that can say, no, you don't need to do ihtiyat when it is one of few? أما الثاني ورود الترخيص في لسان الشارع, to see whether tarkhis means permission, to allow. Is there any permission from shari, from legislator? And this is very important to see when there is shubhiyya mahsura. Is there any permission from shari to disregard all of them? هل ورد فيه الترخيص لبعض الأطراف? For example, I know that I cannot take all of them, but at least some of them -1. All of them -1. Okay? Ayatollah Subhani says, الناظر إلى الروايات, the one who considers and reads and reflects on the hadith, يقطع, would become certain that we don't have such tarkhis. There is no facility, no permission given that don't worry because you don't know which one, then you can take all of them -1, for example. Let us give you actually some hadith that suggest that you should do ihtiyat. Do you get the point? For example, Shaykh al-Kulayni rahimahullah روى الكليني بسند معتبر عن سماعه سألت أبا عبد الله عليه السلام عن رجل معه إناءان. I asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam about a man who has 2 containers. وقع في أحدهما قذر. In one of them something najis has, qadar means dirty, but here means ritually dirty. In one of these 2 containers, a najis has dropped. فلا يدري أيهما هو. He doesn't know which of the 2 containers. وليس يقدر على ماء غيره. And he doesn't also have another water. Okay? What should he do? Imam said, يحرقهما. He should throw away both of the cups, containers. So whatever water is in them, he throws it away. For example, gives to a tree or whatever. And then, because there is no water which is clean, he does tayammum. He does tayammum. So although water is needed for wuzu, but because this water is likely to be the one which we know is najis, we have to avoid it. And then you do tayammum. So you see, Imam Sadiq didn't say, because he doesn't know which one, he can take one of them. He didn't say that. Actually, he said he should throw away both of them.
What if the situation is such that he needs to drink the water? Is that dependent on it?
If it is dependent, then even if you know it's najis, you can drink. Yeah? So if you know even it's najis, for saving your life, you can drink as much as is necessary. Two, ما ورد في وجوب غسل الثوب. Please don't read غسل. غسل. Because غسل is master, غسل is اسم master. Ghusl is the result of ghasl. Ghasl means washing. We have hadith that says it's necessary to wash dress من الناحية التي يعلم بإصابة بعضها للنجاسة. You know, a small part of your dress has become najis. You don't know where, but you know, for example, is this side of the dress. Okay? You have to wash all that side that you know najis is one of the points there. You don't need to wash other sides. And you cannot just say, okay, I knew that only 1 inch is najis, so I wash 1 inch. No. If this 1 inch, you know it, exactly wash it. If it is 1 inch, but now you have to wash 10 inches so that you are sure that that 1 inch is washed, you have to wash 10 inch. Yeah? So that side, that part, that section that you know is najis, and najis is not out of it, it's inside it, you have to wash it. But if you know najis is another side, not this side, you don't need to wash. Is it clear? Very rational. ما ورد في وجوب غسل الثوب من الناحية التي يعلم بإصابة بعضها للنجاسة. It's necessary, it's wajib, obligatory to wash the dress, the clothes, where in that section that you know part of it is najis. For example, Zurara says, قُلْتُ لَهُ, I told Imam, it seems to be Imam Sadiq, it's more like Imam Sadiq, إني قد علمت أنه قد أصابه الدم ولم أدر أين هو فأغسله. I know that blood has reached my dress, but I don't know which part of my dress. Imam alayhi salam said, تغسل من ثوبك الناحية التي ترى أنه قد أصابها. From your dress, you wash that part that you know blood has reached, touched. حتى تكون على يقين من طهارتك. So that when you wash, you know you are certainly clean. So you don't need to wash all of it, but you need to wash that area that is likely to have najis inside. Another hadith. ما ورد في الثوبين المشتبهين من تكرار الصلاة في كل منهما على الانفراد. For example, if there are two dresses and one of them is najis or one of them, is a problem, what should we do? We have to say our salat with both of them. Put on one of them, pray, and then put the other one and pray, so that you are sure that one of them was with clean clothes. So all these riwayat and riwayat like these indicate that you have to accept the itlaq, the generality of those references, those texts that suggest that there is taklif here. Taklif is not, cancelled just because you don't know which one. Okay. Is it possible to argue for adamul ihtiyat, to argue for ihtiyat being unnecessary from the famous hadith that says كل شيء لك حلال حتى تعلم أنه حرام بعينه. Some people have tried to say, look, it says everything is halal for you unless you know بعينه decisively. Yeah? Do you get the point? ربما يستدل على جواز الترخيص ببعض الروايات. Sometimes it is argued for permissibility of tarkhis, exemption, from some hadith. For example, كل شيء هو لك حلال. Everything is halal for you حتى تعلم أنه حرام بين, unless or till you know that this is specifically haram. They say بعينه is to emphasize on everything. Everything is halal بعينه. If you don't know it بعينه, then it's not. So it's something that includes whether there is shubhiyya mahsura or there is no shubhiyya mahsura, it's shubhiyya badwiyya. Our answer is no. If you want to understand this sentence, read the whole hadith. Read the whole hadith, and from the context you can understand that this is not about shubhiyya mahsura. It's about shubhiyya what? Badwiyya. Yeah? It's about initial doubt. So, إن تلك الفقرة ليست رواية مستقلة. This sentence is not an independent hadith. It's part of a hadith, and you have to read the whole hadith. هي جزء من رواية مسعدة بن الصدقة. Is part of the hadith narrated by مسعدة بن الصدقة from Imam Sadiq. He says, سمعته يقول, I heard Imam Sadiq alayhi salam saying, كل شيء هو لك حلال حتى تعلم أنه حرام بعينه فتدعه من قبل نفسك. Everything is permissible for you unless you are sure that this is haram, then you تدعه, you leave it aside. Yeah? You remove it. But look at what comes after this in the same hadith. Look at examples. Examples make it clear that this is not shubhiyya mahsura, this is shubhiyya badwiyya. وذلك مثل الثوب يكون عليك قد اشتريته. You have gone to market, purchased a dress. Are you sure that this dress did not belong to someone else? Maybe this is not mubah, maybe it's usurped. Okay? We say, no, you can use it unless you become sure. So, ذَلِكَ مِثْلُ الثَّوْبِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْكَ, like the dress which is on you have already put on. قَدْ اشْتَرَيْتَهُ وَهُوَ السَّرِقَةُ, maybe it was stolen. Or al-mamluku indak, you know, when there was a slavery, maybe the slave that someone has was not supposed to be a slave. For example, there was a free man, free woman that was stolen and taken as a slave. Or a free person who was in need of money and sold himself. You cannot sell yourself. Do you understand? Because Islam tried to first regulate and limit the ways of becoming a slave, and then to encourage people to release them, and finished it soon. So, al-mamluku indak, the slave that you own and it's with you, la'allahu hurrun, there is a chance maybe he was free. قَدْ بَاعَ نَفْسَهُ, he sold himself. Oh, خُدَعَ, maybe he was deceived. فَبِيعَ قَحْرًا, yeah, they forced him to be sold. Forcefully they sold him. أَوْ امْرَأَةٌ تَحْتَكَ وَهِيَ أُخْتُكَ أَوْ رَضِيعَتُكَ, maybe you marry a woman and you don't know, maybe your father had a wife that you didn't know, and this is your sister. So, or maybe is from fostering, you have a sister from Rada'ah. So there are doubts, but these doubts are disregarded because we don't know. So if you look at this, then Imam says, Al-ashya'u kulluha ala hadha hatta yastabina laka ghayru dhalik aw taquma bihil bayyinah. So in all these cases, you disregard the doubt unless it becomes certain for you that there is haram here, there is a problem here, there's a sin, there is a deception, or if you are not certain, at least there is bayyinah. For example, two just people bear witness. When two just people bear witness, you don't become 100% sure, but at least you have an evidence which is reliable. Yeah? You know the difference between yastabina or taquma bihil bayyinah. Yastabina means becomes clear for you, obvious. You are sure yourself. But sometimes you are not sure, but there is bayyinah. Two people have given testimony. So, when you look at the examples in this hadith, do you see any shubha mahsura? No, it's shubha badwiyah. You don't know at all if there was any haram here. It's not that there are, for example, two things and you know one of them is haram. Yes.
Sheikh, with these ones, the probability is very small. Is that the reason why?
Yes. So, Uqala disregard such probabilities. Otherwise, life becomes very, very difficult. Shari', the legislator, doesn't want to make life for us very difficult. You can do ihtiyat, but we cannot expect all people to do ihtiyat all the time. It becomes very difficult for many people. Yes?
For high-ranking scholars, where even maybe something of a small probability could maybe have an impact on their iman, spirituality, or progress, they would probably take ihtiyat a lot more seriously than
Yes.
Khalidi.
Yeah, it's good. Ihtiyat is good, but ihtiyat should not be imposed on everyone. Because there are people that if you ask them to do ihtiyat, even they may not do even the wajib. Yeah? You have to make sharia something that everyone can, cope with it. Yes.
Sometimes when people try to sell some goods and the price is very little than the market price, although they don't say that it's a stolen good. So what is the condition here?
If there is a chance that maybe this person is honest and has a cheap supply, it's okay. But if there is sign that this is deception, then you should if you can understand that this is fishy, they say, yeah. Yes. Okay. الأمثلة الواردة في ذلك الحديث كلها من الشبهة البدوية. All these examples that we had is shubha, initial doubt. What does initial doubt mean? Means you don't know that there was a taklif. وهذا يوجب انصراف إطلاق الحديث إلى موارده. So because of the examples, so we can understand that this hadith حتى تعلم أنه حرام بعينه is not about shubha محصورة and certainty. Anything that is unknown to be haram, whether directly, specifically, or one of you have to avoid. Anything that you don't know there is haram, shubha badwi, maybe there is haram, maybe no haram, nothing is established, you can disregard the possibility of hurmah. هذا يوجب انصراف إطلاق الحديث إلى موارده. Means the cases of shubha badwi. وعدم أموميته لموارد العلم الإجمالي. It's not including, it does not include علم إجمالي. If this hadith meant that you can disregard ilm ijmali, at least should have given us one example of that. That if there are two dress and one of them is najas, you can use it, no problem. You see, all the examples are where there is no ilm ijmali. Okay? So, the first type was ash-shubhatul mahsurah. And we said here you have to do ihtiyat. What about ash-shubhatu ghayrul mahsurah? When the probable parties and sides are too many. اتفق الأصوليون. Usuliyun have consensus. Usuliyun have consensus, they have agreed that على عدم تنجيز العلم الإجمالي في أطراف الشبهة التحريمية الموضوعية غير المحصورة. علم الإجمالي would not be able to actualize, to bring into effect the obligation when there are many sides. Okay? And please remember, we are talking about shubhiyya mawzu'iyya. We said shubhiyya hukmiyya has no practical example in ihtiyat. Here the text has a problem. There is something missing. فَقَدْ أُرِّفَتْ means فَقَدْ أُرِّفَتْ الشُّبْهَةُ غَيْرُ الْمَحْصُورَةِ. When you read, you don't understand where the sentence starts or finishes, you know. So, what is shubhiyya غير محصورة? If you remember, I told you before, you cannot say if it is 20 or 30 or 40, then it's غير محصورة. Below is محصورة. No one can fix a particular number. The thing is that it should be so many that rational people would disregard the likelihood. For example, if it is 1 in million, they don't bother. 1 in 100,000, they don't bother. 1 in 1,000, maybe they don't bother. But then it reaches a point that you don't know whether they bother or they don't bother. For example, 1 in 30, you don't know whether they bother or they don't bother. Okay?
You mean when it's unlikely, غير محصورة?
Yeah, so we want to see what percentage of likelihood or probability brings mas'uliyah and what percentage is okay to ignore. Okay?
It's according to Urf.
Urf, yes. So, فَقَدْ أُرِّفَتْ. أُرِّفَتْ means ta'rif, means definition. It has been defined as follows. أن تكون الأطراف إلى حد يوجب ضعف احتمال كون الحرام في طرف خاص. The parties, the sides are that much that it's very weak. ضعف, it's weak. The possibility is weak. ضعف احتمال كون الحرام في طرف خاص. To say that this one is haram is very weak in probability. To the extent that لا يعتني به العقلاء. بحيث لا يعتني به العقلاء. So there are so many different sides to this question that if you point at one and say how much is the chance for this one to be the actual haram, it's very weak. Uqala don't bother about this. يتعاملون معه معاملة الشك البدوي. It's so weak that they consider as if they don't know there is haram. You know, if you know 1 in 1 million is haram, it's as if you don't know, because the 1 in millions, you know, is so little that you can ignore. Yes.
Would you say rather than it's little, it's insignificant?
Pardon? Yes.
Would you
Yes.
rather-
Yeah. So means they don't consider it. They don't care. For example, لو أخبر أحد باحتراق بيت في بلد. For example, you hear that one house in London is burnt. أو اغتيال إنسان, or someone is killed today. There are so many people here and so many houses that you don't feel that you need to go and, you know, check. Is it your house which is burnt or not? Yeah, that the possibility is very little. Is it clear? Otherwise, you know, we cannot live, you know, because we know all the time someone is killed. If, you know, as soon as there is possibility you have to check, then all the time you have to have phone and just check, you know, is your home on fire or not? Is your family are safe or not? Ughala don't act upon any possibility. Possibility has to be high. فلو أخبر أحد, if someone is informed, باحتراق بيت, one house is burnt, في بلد, in a town, in a place. أو اغتيال إنسان فيها, means في البلد. One person has been killed in one place. And in the same place, you have house or you have your child. للسامع, the one who listens, فيه, في ذاك البلد, بيت, he has a house, or ولد, he has a child. لا يعتد بذلك الخبر. He wouldn't, you know, pay attention to that news. There are so many people. Okay? Na'am. Yes. Sometimes the likelihood, the probability is low. What is likely to happen is so important that you have to be extra careful. Now, لو كان المحتمل على وجه لا يرضى المولى بارتكابه. What is likely to happen is so important that we know Shara doesn't, you know, let us to ignore. We have to be very careful. For example, there is one poisoned container. And although it's, for example, in 1,000, but if we take this poison, we would be immediately killed, and perhaps many other people would be also killed. So we say, okay, let's get rid of all these 1,000 bottles of water, for example. Yeah?
Sheikh, it's sometimes in a batch of eggs there's salmonella, and then they get rid of the whole thing.
Yes.
So,
Yes. فيعامل معه معاملة المحصورة. When the issue is so important that Shara definitely wants us to be careful, then even if the sides are many, we consider it like mahsura, as if there is few only. أما حكمها. Okay, so first we gave you a definition. What is شبهة غير محصورة? We gave you definition.
You can't fix a significant
So-
number.
So
but
the
it has to be
probabilities are so high.
so high. And the possibility is weak to say that this one, particular one, is the problem.
So it's one in many, many, so that you don't see uqala take care of it. They can ignore it. Okay, now what is the ruling? This was the definition. After you understood what is shubhiyya ghayra mahsureh, what is the ruling? Amma hukmuha. فلو علم المكلف بوجود تكليف قطعي. أو احتمالي, if mukallaf knows that there is an obligation, whether it is decisive or likely, بين الأطراف, among different parts, but in the way that Mawla is certainly not happy with disobeying. Okay? For example, there is a mu'min who might lose his life if you are not cautious. كقتل المؤمن فلا يجوز الترخيص لا في كلها ولا في بعضها. Here, you cannot say, I don't bother. You have to be careful. You have to be precautious. Because the issue of someone's life. But najasa is not as important as life. Yeah? For, this dress or that dress is najas, or this container is najas or that. But it's not a matter of killing people. So Shara here may not, expect us to be making life difficult for ourselves. But if it's a matter of life, of course, you have to be careful. لا يجوز الترخيص لا في كلها ولا في بعضها. We cannot have permission to do all of them or some of them. But this is not our question. Our question was not something special like this. Our question is في مقام آخر, was something else. وهو أنه إذا دل الدليل على حرمة الشيء. We have a hadith or ayah which says something is haram. For example, اجتنب عن النجس, اجتنب عن القصب. قصب means to usurp. Okay, you have to avoid qasb. Okay, if God forbids you do qasb, what happens? Someone is not killed. Yeah, it's haram, but it's not something that you have to be very, very, very cautious. Okay, وكان مقتضى إطلاق الدليل حرمته. The general indication of the source of the reference is that it's haram and you have to avoid it. But if it is غير محصورة, either this person who is selling me this good or that person in a market in which there are 1,000 sellers and each of them is selling thousands of items, I know one of them is qasb. Do I need to avoid all of them? No. It's not a matter of killing, Yes.
But now I want to ask a specific question of a specific scenario about this qasb example.
You ask it now or after I stop? Okay.
I might forget. That's your plan.
Thank you. فهل هناك دليل أقوى يقدم على ذلك الإطلاق? Is there any stronger argument that we can use and rely on to say we don't need to do ihtiyat, that dalil for hurmat al-qasb is overridden by that? قد استدل القوم على وجود الدليل. قوم, what does it, قوم, people means here usuliyun. Yes, we mean by people here, not every type of people. We mean usuliyun. Usuliyun have argued that we have arguments which indicate that here we don't need to observe itlaq of hurma. Hurma has itlaq. La, for example, ta'kul al-najis, ijtanab al-qasb, okay? But we have something which is more important. For example, one dalil, one argument is, they say, in shubhatu ghayr al-mahsurah, when the parties are many, if you want to do ihtiyat, it leads to al-usr wal-haraj. You know al-usr wal-haraj? Means it makes life miserable. It makes life so difficult that ordinary people cannot cope with it. You know, you can always find mu'mineen who are so strong that even if life is very, very difficult, still they can cope. But you have to consider average. You cannot make life so miserable that average people will say, okay, we cannot practice Islam. That's too difficult. Okay? Don't make life too difficult for people. If you say whenever you have doubt that in this market one item is qasb, don't buy from them. You know, this superstore, don't buy, that superstore, that shop, you know, so life becomes very difficult.
But then the ulamas buy from such supermarkets.
Pardon?
We are ordinary people. But when ulama buy from such supermarkets.
Of course, you see, if the possibility is high, you can do ihtiyat. Yeah? The best thing is, if you can, for example, make your own food, make your own dress. But how many people can do this? Yeah? So, in the past, you know, there were people who used to only eat from their own farm. So, the first argument is that if we want to be definitely obeying, it leads to usr wal haraj. It makes life very difficult. We cannot cope with it. Therefore, there is no need here to do ihtiyat. Taklif doesn't become fi'li, doesn't become actual. This is the first argument. And then they have hadith that they have used also to say that in shubahat ghayr al-mahsura we don't need to do ihtiyat. Our memory is finishing, so I think I stop here and we continue inshallah next week. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.